you guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to Still the Spotlight. Today I thought it was about time I did another trend related video, especially since we're about to move not only into the new year but a whole new decade, which is kind of freaking me out a little bit, but I decided to take that fear and turn it into something productive today. So we're putting a little bit of a twist on it with the top 10 trends for 2020 that were actually also very popular in the early, and I'm pushing it to the mid 2000s because I do think it's quite interesting to see how they were worn 20 years ago and then also seeing how we are reimagining the same trends and styling them today. Before we do jump into the trends and how I'm wearing them, I want to give a big thank you to today's sponsor, which is Shop Tagger. If you've been on my channel a while, then you may have heard of them before because they always send so much love to the channel, and I'm always stoked when I get to partner up with them because it's an application that I use on the daily. So if you guys haven't heard of them before, it is a completely free service which you just download the cute little button to your browser, and then whenever you're online shopping and seeing something you like, you click on their little logo, add it to your dedicated list, and then they will send you notifications whenever that item goes on sale or comes back in stock. Whether you already have a Shop Tagger account or if you're signing up today, if you add at least 2 items to one of your lists before December 14th, then you'll automatically be entered in their $1,000 holiday giveaway. So make sure you get adding. And I thought this was actually a really good sponsorship to touch on when we're talking about trends, because sometimes we are a little bit too hasty and jump on a trend that we find out a couple of weeks later we don't necessarily like or doesn't necessarily work with our wardrobe. So I would highly recommend, if you guys are looking to try out new trends for the new year, to actually start adding them to your list now and letting them sit and marinate throughout December. And that way, when the sales come around, Shop Tagger start notifying you on Boxing Day of what's popping off, you'll actually have a more informed decision on what trends you do like or what ones you're kind of over and don't want to invest your money in. Also, they're saving you even more coin these days with their feature where whenever you're on a checkout page, you just click the button and it will automatically scan and apply the best available discount code for you, which, let me tell you, really comes in clutch sometimes. Even during Cyber Weekend sales, I was actually getting a further discount on whatever the site was already offering, which was blowing my mind. So if you guys are interested, I would definitely recommend checking them out. All the links will be down below in the description box. Let's just start out with the trend that I am already wearing, which is of course this chunky yet funky headband. And this was probably more so a mid 2000s trend. It really popped off when Gossip Girl was at its peak. Everyone wanted to have their Blair Waldorf moment, and I do appreciate that it's kind of kept that same air of elegance about it, I suppose. Like, I feel quite regal wearing this today. These kind of 3D headbands is what I'm most commonly seeing, especially on Instagram at the moment, and personally I love them, but I could see them not being everyone's cup of tea. So there's also a variety of options that are more flat to the head, if that's more your style. I feel like it's just butterfly mania at the moment. There is butterflies on absolutely everything, and personally I love it because it is something that feels very nostalgic to me, because even as just a little kid in the early 2000s, I remember having butterflies on all of my clothes. So I love that this is having a comeback. I recently picked up this 2-piece set with an all over butterfly print, and because this is in a more muted color palette, to me it almost leans more late 90s Sabrina Spellman sort of vibe. But if I wanted to make it more on brand for Y2K, then I would switch it up and go for my baby blue baby tee with just the single butterfly in the center. I feel like this screams something that Lizzie McGuire would wear. Hands down, one of my favorites at the moment has to be corsets, and this is actually a really good example of just how frequently trends have been recycled, because yes, this was massive in the early 2000s, especially with the hit single Lady Marmalade. They had like the really lingerie inspired music video, and then all of a sudden I feel like people were wearing it on the red carpet and stuff, but they were also taking inspo from looks that they had seen in the 80s with the likes of Madonna, and then obviously corsets were around long before then. So this is something that has been rinsed and repeated many a time, but I am loving it for 2020. Depending on your comfort level and just your personal taste, there's definitely a few different variations. Some do feel very bedroom inspired, I suppose, but you can get some more wearable everyday versions which you might feel even more comfortable with if you kind of layer them and team them with something underneath. Or you can also just take like a baby step in that direction with more so a corset waist belt. It is no secret that I am a big fan of the cardigan, so of course I had to feature it today. I just really love its more preppy sort of origin, but it's almost styled in a more sassy sort of way, which I think just gives a really nice juxtaposition. And if you guys even go back on my channel, I started wearing this before it really came into style, and let me tell you, I will continue to wear it into 2020 even if everyone else lets it die, which again, just in general, take trends with a grain of salt. Whatever is trendy, not trendy, it doesn't matter. Wear what you want. If you guys feel comfortable and confident in it, then you're gonna look like $1,000,000 regardless. When I do think of 2000s cardigans specifically, I do think of something that is a little bit more fitted, maybe cropped, and often also in like a cutesy sort of color palette, like maybe something pastel. Again, a trend that has been massive this year is the rise of the mini bag, and this is something that I have really enjoyed, although I haven't gone too miniature because I do still like to be able to fit at least my phone and my cards in there. When it comes to the early 2000s, I instantly think of the sort of bags that the likes of Paris Hilton were always spotted with, which obviously had a really short strap and just sat like right underneath your armpit, which honestly aren't the most comfortable, but they do look really, really cute. And I've added a few to my collection, and I think pretty much all of which have actually been thrifted, which is a huge point for this entire video because these were things that were popular only 20 years ago. So chances are a lot of this stuff has found its way into your local thrift stores and op shops. So definitely check there before you go and invest somewhere else. The most cringe-inducing trend for me from that time period would have to be the ridiculously low-rise denim jeans, especially because seemingly they just had to style them with the most crop top to have the most midriff on display as humanly possible, and it's just not something that I'm personally looking to take with me into 2020. But with that being said, I wanted to see if there were some other denim styles that we could take some inspo from, and I came up with two potential options. The first one being a lot of wide-legged and baggier sort of pants, not even just necessarily in denim, but we saw a lot of cargo pants. So I wanted to kind of bleed the two together for a cargo jean, and I found these ones on YesStar, which I am in love with. Alternatively, I was seeing a little bit of a trend emerging with patchwork denim. This definitely wasn't as prominent as some of the others, but I figured it was still worth mentioning because this is also a fun one for more of a DIY or thrift flip as well. Next up, I have a shoe trend, and don't worry, it is not the heinous flip-flop platform. No, the trend that we're seeing re-emerge is those really strappy sandals that have quite a low heel, almost like a kitten heel sort of height, and I do think that these are actually really pretty. They're very dainty and feminine. I don't know how much wear I'm gonna get out of them because I don't really like my toes being exposed. I just feel like I have really ugly feet, so probably only going to do a faraway shot for this one, but hopefully you guys get the idea. This is definitely another one where we're seeing a few different variations, whether they're more of an open back mule style or something with a sling back on them, and also a lot of really cutesy colors once again, which I'm just obsessed with. Back to another favorite of mine, which is tonal dressing, or a monochromatic outfit where you choose one signature color and style it from head to toe. Definitely think like Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, and also, although I believe it came out in '99, Destiny's Child in Say My Name. I've always been someone who loves a matchy moment, so this trend is definitely, again, right up my alley, and I'm actually thinking about doing a full separate video on it, styling like all the different colors of the rainbow or something along those lines. A quick tip in the meantime though would be looking at including different textures for your outfit and also going for a slight variation of shades of your chosen color. I think this way it just looks a little bit more elevated rather than just looking like one solid block of one color head to toe. This one is just a really quick mention because I'm pretty sure I featured it in a trend video this time last year, maybe even longer than that, and it is hair clips. Obviously, you can't talk about Y2K without them, and I am still loving this trend. It is such an easily accessible and affordable one as well, because I will just go down to my local cheap shop and for $2 I can get a huge variety of different colors and styles, and I just love this, especially for someone who has like a very plain, ordinary brown hair. I just love any sort of hair accessory to spice things up a little bit. This could lean either 90s or 2000s depending on the particular item, but the overall trend is tie-dye. This just kept picking up speed throughout this year, and I do think that it'll stick around for at least the first half of 2020, and I got quite a bit of wear out of it, especially with like this shirt here. You guys would have seen it pop up quite frequently. Also those oversized t-shirts, which that's the sort of thing that I think leans more 90s, but if you want to take it more into the 2000s realm for 2020, then I think those long sleeve fitted tie-dye tops, often also in like a mesh texture as well, would be perfect because again, they scream Lizzie McGuire, like the colorful, crazy layered outfits, which I just absolutely adore. Actually, do you guys want to see a Lizzie McGuire lookbook, or maybe like dressing like early 2000s Disney stars, something along those lines? If you do, let me know, and also request like specific characters that you'd want to see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that actually brings us to the end of today's video. Those were my top 10 trends to try. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what some of your favorite things from the early 2000s are, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one, maybe even over on my Instagram, which is at Steal the Spotlight. Thanks for watching, guys. Mwah!